Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another pre-market watch list here on the Boiler Room. So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we are going to be following the stock TVIX. Again, TVIX is an ETN that follows or is an inverse of the overall market or the S&P 500. So, as we've seen the past couple of days, the S&P has been seeing a lot of volatility, a lot of movements. What's going on, guys? Good morning. So again, S&P 500 been seeing a lot of volatility over these past couple of days with uncertainty on whether or not we are due for a correction or coming into that correction phase. So as of right now, I have a lot of areas mapped off on the S&P. So these are really just all these green lines you see here. We're just looking at a bunch of potential resistance areas that we can see the S&P run into today. So the reason we really have a lot of these areas marked off here on the S&P is to give us a better understanding of where it is that the TVIX may find support, or where we could potentially see the S&P run into resistance. And if the S&P runs into resistance, then we're going to see TVIX go to the long side again. So when TVIX is going up, S&P is going down. All right, so again, we're going to be keeping an eye on TVIX. Now, there isn't really, there isn't one set area where you want to buy TVIX. So there isn't an area to watch for, because you're watching the SPY. So again, this is an inverse ETN where you're going to want to watch the SPY in order to time your trade correctly on TVIX. So we are definitely considering trading NXTD. Jack, there is some good news out there this morning with like FlipPay or something, making it very easy for cryptocurrency holders to make retail transactions using their cryptocurrency. So it definitely is on the watch list here today. So next thing we're going to take a look at here is Snapchat. So as many of you know, Snapchat had some pretty good earnings the other day, and yesterday it went parabolic from about 17 to a high of 21. Here pre-market, it's up to a high of 22. So this thing is pushing higher and it's really grinding up. I would expect that Snapchat will probably see, it's already green on the day. I wouldn't expect Snapchat to completely dump out today. I fear that, if anything, we'll see Snapchat have more of a rally and a consolidation day rather than just one direction overall. So what we really want to look for is the fact that we have a high here pre-market at $22. We also want to look into our yearly time frame and map out and go, okay, well, 22 makes sense, because if you come back long enough, you'll see that previously it had some resistance there at 22. So we've popped over 22 briefly just to come right back under. So 22 is kind of that level to watch for right now, because we've already popped over it just briefly by 20 cents, and now we're back under, and we're starting to downtrend a little bit. So far, we've bounced here on the VWAP. So right now, we've held support on the VWAP, which makes sense. So right now, 2156 is a level to watch for potential bounces and a potential breakdown, okay? Because we've already held support there and bounced a little bit. So that's kind of your level to watch for going into, the morning bell and when the market opens. And you're going to want to kind of keep an eye around that, 2150, 2156. All right. So again, keep a close eye there on Snapchat today. Lots of volume on Snapchat. And now moving over to the next one is Twitter, TWTR. Twitter is up exponentially, right? So Twitter announced its first profitable year, or it was maybe it was its first profitable quarter. I can't remember off the top of my head. What was it? I think it's its first actual profitable year. So Twitter in itself is doing phenomenal. It's up to a high of 34.30. All right, yeah, 34.30. Now, this is the highest Snapchat's ever been. So it has now put in an all-time high. When you get to areas of all-time high, it becomes kind of hard to judge exactly what the stock will do because it's never been that high. So you can't go back into a year time frame and map out a support or a resistance area really, because you're so far above everything that they're irrelevant. So now it's going to come down strictly to trading intraday chart setups and understanding the trend. Right now, the trend is definitely up, and we're appearing that we may want to attempt, we may want to attempt a breakout of 34.30. Okay, so as soon as the price breaks down below this trend line and the 20-day moving average, we should see it start downtrending a bit. But again, Twitter is seeing a lot of volume here this morning, and it's definitely a stock that will be traded. Now, I could say this. It's up so big here this morning that there's going to be a lot of people that would look to take profit. So do expect some type of pullback and then maybe a dip buy. So if you're looking to short, maybe look to short early on in the morning as people take profits. And if you're a long bias trader you're looking to trade Twitter, watch for a dip buy. And that dip buy, I would honestly suspect, would probably be somewhere around $33. You could definitely see the first potential reversal or dip buy around 33, and then every whole dollar mark and 50-cent mark that follows thereafter. Mike, you can use FinViz to find the float size. Those are really the three stocks that three things that I'm watching today, along with NXTD. So let's hop over to NXTD. All right, so NXTD basically $2 to $2.60. So it's up about 50, 60 cents, maybe 70 cents here pre-market. Now, if you come down to the news channel, whether you're on Thinkorswim or some other news site, you should be able to find it. But there is some news out here this morning that NXTD is going to be teaming up with either Garmin, this other company, and they're basically creating a device that will allow cryptocurrency holders to make retail purchases using cryptocurrency. And that's just it. And now the stock is up about 70 cents here this morning. So it has good news. It's starting to trade on some volume, not the heaviest volume, but it is starting to trade. We have a high pre-market at 260, and we have support built up pre-market around like 247, 250, right about the VWAP. So there's this channel that it may trade in during the market open before we actually see some type of breakdown or breakout. So the breakout will be above 260, and the breakdown will probably be below $2.50 on NXTD. I'll take a look. Let me see. I'll take a look here at LBIX. Have not heard of this ticker nor looked at it in a long time. So there is some news on it. It is popping up. It's still on very, very light volume. So whenever there's a stock that's popping up like this on light volume, I really hesitate trading it or even really watching until the volume picks up and gives us some type of chart pattern. Because as of right now, it's just gapping up, and it can easily come right back down on us. So it's definitely something you want to be a little bit cautious of when coming to trade that. But again, another stock that you should watch is UVXY, or not, shall I say stock, ETF. So this is very similar to TVIX. It's basically the same ETF or ETN as TVIX. It's just higher priced. So for any of you that want to trade a higher price ETF rather than the lower priced TVIX, this would be something to watch as well. This one operates and trades exactly the same as TVIX. So you're going to have to follow the S&P to correctly trade TVIX today. Okay. And that is all that I will be watching here today on for the trading day. Now, again, Twitter, Snapchat, NXTD, UVXY, TVIX, primarily going to be my main plays. I am most concerned with trading TVIX. So I'm going to take a hop back over here. Look at the volume on TVIX yesterday. A ton of volume. You're going from highs of 9 down to 7, then from 7 to 9, then from 9 down to 820, then from 820 back up to 9, then from 9 back down to 840, right? Then from 840 back to 934, then from 934 down to $7.80. This is an awesome, awesome thing to trade. There's a ton of volatility. There's a ton of movement. I mean, there was opportunities all day long to make money on this, okay? If you time your entries correct, you don't even have to waste your time looking for anything else to trade. You could have traded this all day long and made a killing, right? So that's the game plan that I'll be going and having set forth for TVIX today, is if TVIX is going to see this type of volume and this type of volatility, then I will just watch and I will trade TVIX all day long, in and out, scalping or taking, some trades on it. There's no point of trading anything else when you have something that's moving this much. But the only way TVIX will move is this: that if the S&P or SPY, S&P 500, the ETF is moving as well. This thing needs to see volatility as well. And it's having a lot of volatility lately, a lot of volume. It is moving. And with that being said, I will primarily be focused on trading TVIX. It'll tell you whether, so like if you go up here, right, if you look at the very top, it says ETF. And if you go over like TVIX, it'll say, it'll say ETN like in the news, but they normally will state what they are at the top, right? If you go to UVXY, it says ETF, short ETF. So again, it should tell you exactly what it is that you're trading. So yeah, they're not the exact same, but they're very similar, Chris. You're right. UVXY 3 times leverage, TVIX is 2 times, right? So not going to go into the nitty gritty with them, but they do have very similar price action and follow very similar moves. Again, this one went from 15 to 19, right? So 15 to 19, that was $4, right? 4 points versus TVIX went from 7 to 9, which is about 2 points, right? So you're going to get some more movement with UVXY, but TVXY or TVIX is a little lower priced. All right. So that is all I have for you here on the pre-market watches. So once again, thank you guys all for tuning in, and I will see you next time.